21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Are you ready to learn about a way to be happy with your U.S. healthcare benefit system? My name is Brandy Burch. I'm the CEO and founder of BenefitBay. I myself have had to try to solve the benefits problems for small businesses and businesses that I was the CFO of or the operations lead. No one is ever happy with their U.S. healthcare benefits, the employer or the individual accessing care. Throughout the years, I've built a lot of experience in what works, what doesn't work, what are the common pain points. The first time I had a negative experience with U.S. healthcare was pre-Affordable Care Act. And in 1999, I had put in my notice to resign from a position, and I was starting a new position. And I found out in the first 90 days of my new position that I was pregnant and expecting. What was a happy moment immediately turned to a financial crisis for my husband and I and our young family. I had to pay the complete medical journey and the delivery of my little girl because there was a pre-existing condition clause. I'm glad that U.S. healthcare has moved to the Affordable Care Act and no longer has pre-existing conditions for prior cancer patients or pregnancies, or for those of us who change a job during any one of those major event diagnoses or within that window of time that could cause our company or ourselves financial disruption. But even with ACA, there are still a lot of challenges, and I'd love to talk to you about them. The challenges that companies still face is it's unaffordable. Healthcare for the employer, they're offering significant cost of benefits spend, but the accessibility of those benefits doesn't tap in until $5,000 deductibles are met. And the average American is not seeking care. Their children are not going for their preventative visits because they don't have the $165 for that office visit. In addition, the poor providers, the medical doctors, the nurses, they're undercompensated because they're often fighting a large insurance carrier to be reimbursed a small negotiated rate for 60 or 90 days. All of these pieces feed to the problem of an unhealthy and unhappy US-based employment population. And it's frustrating for small businesses and large businesses alike to solve the problem. There is a great solution that has come to the market, and that is individual coverage health reimbursement arrangements. It passed in the US government in 2020, and it was really founded around how do we start to drive the consumer's ability to have personal choice with the large investment employers and entrepreneurs are making in their team's benefits. I'm happy to be a part of that solution, although it comes with a lot of challenges. We're now having individual employees decide who should they pick as a carrier and which plan is going to be right for their family. So you need a solution to be able to do that. That your population could be 2,000 humans. Your HR professionals can't answer 2,000 humans personal decisions around their healthcare. So that's where technology has come into place. And that's where we've come in to be a part of that solution for that wide open opportunity that is ICHRA and personalized choice and benefits. I have a very non-traditional path to the CEO seat or the founding seat here at BenefitBay. I've come up as an accountant, been working in small businesses, various types of industries, and I've seen this problem repeat itself throughout the process. One of the things for me is I really didn't think I could get to the CEO seat, so I never really strove for that. I didn't feel I could be an entrepreneur because I didn't feel my large family tolerated that risk. I have 6 children. But I'm here to prove that you can do all of those things if you are able to solve a problem that you're passionate about and that you've really been coming at all throughout your career. There's been a recurring theme for you or something that you've often had to see over and over again for yourself, for others, for team members, for companies you service. I think it's really easy to find a path to success in the entrepreneur seat when you take all of those years' experience and put them to work. At BenefitBay, we thought about what are all of the problems in the different areas of benefits and deploying benefits to an employer's population. How do people currently purchase benefits? They purchase them from a broker. How does that broker make that decision? How does the employer make the decision? How can we best fit in that process? So we came about building a software program that is absolutely a speed to market tool that allows a broker to evaluate all different types of employers who sit all over the US in various industries with different diverse populations, and how can they decide if individual choice would actually drive a favorable outcome for that population. So we wanted to be able to show them quickly if the rates would be more reasonably priced, if access to care would be better, if they had programs and plans in those regions that were going to service that population well. And so we came first at the front end of benefits purchasing and solving that solution. Then we moved on to what's that employer's administrative lift to make this decision, and what's that employee's journey look like? Is it going to create fear that they're going to make the wrong decision? How can we eliminate that fear? How can we help them to think about all of the critical items or drugs or healthcare outcomes that their family has and sit at the table where they make those decisions, and not the literal table, but the virtual table. So our software allows them to go through a flow, answer those set of questions, and helps to decide that plan for them and their family. Maybe they're highly compensated and they care about deferring compensation and utilizing an HSA program. Maybe they have limited income and they really care about zero access care, zero access drugs, and they're going to pick a more limited network plan for their family. We really care about getting into the weeds of that with the employee, but also being that technology arm. So I think that there's heartbeats at companies. We are a company full of heartbeats, and we care about the individual making the decision, but we also care how benefits are purchased. There's an ecosystem that services US benefits. They are part of the solution. They may have been part of the problem in some cases, but I don't think anyone meant to create harm to the individuals accessing healthcare. It has been an evolution of an unsustainable program, and we have to get to a place where those individuals are able to make the decision and then drive consumer behaviors so that the carriers are having to compete for your business, and because they actually have to service you well. And it's the last area that hasn't been solved in the US system. We make our decisions on everything else. So BenefitBay's key piece is thinking about how did that current ecosystem work? Where are the problems and how do we solve them? And that's why I think we kind of stand out. We didn't come just as a tech disruptor. We came as being the problem solver, looking at it, seeing where we can go long term. BenefitBay's got the best name in the business. We want to be everything benefits. And I kind of think of it like a bay, like a harbor where everyone comes and they deliver all of the things. But that's a whole ecosystem at work there for a major city. And that's where I see the future of BenefitBay. Right now, we're passionate about educating, bringing change, educating carriers how they can be better, educating employers how they can be better, educating brokers how they can be better, and then educating all of the parties to ask the right questions, because there are some competitors in this space who aren't doing this well, and then those employees are going to have a bad experience. So that's what I'm out here doing, is really educating and telling people what to do and what to look for when you make this type of decision. Our culture at BenefitBay is one of education, even for ourselves. We don't know everything there is to solve here, and we take an approach of going out and creating those organic conversations with parties inside this ecosystem, but we also want to learn from the benefits users. We also want to learn from the markets they serve. We also want to learn what's driving the cost up in certain regions versus others. I think there's such a social impact of healthcare. Access to that preventative healthcare, it's a multi-generational problem. If you're not able to access the care that you desire during a pregnancy, if you're sick as a single mother, any of these things can really impact family, community, all of the above. Our culture at BenefitBay is pivotal to caring about the humans we serve. Yes, our buyer is a brokerage agency. Yes, our buyer is an employer. But we care about the individuals we serve and making an impact to future improve healthcare. I think there's so many avenues we can continue to grow there, but learning what are the key gaps in insurance and in access to care, and helping to educate the people who exist in those same markets, and that being the carriers, as to what we're having a problem with and what we're trying to solve. I think that's a huge piece. And I think from an educational perspective in our culture, we educate everyone on insurance. We allow them to sit for their national producer health and life insurance exam. We pay for their continuing education credits. We also do tuition reimbursements, and we also work on student debt. There's a huge burden in the US as well with student debt burdens to employees. And so we have a program to continue to help dig out and match dollars with our employees to dig themselves out of debt. I think all of those things, we value education. Education is expensive, however, so a lot of people won't make that investment in themselves. So we make that investment. In turn, we get a great culture. We get people who are loyal to the organization and who are ready to educate those individuals who are going through our system. So it's full cycle. As a single parent, it's really tough to be an executive and a CEO of a new entity or a founding entity. Building a business is really hard. I think some of the key challenges and adversities that I fought was mom guilt. That's number one. Trying to feel the balance between delivering for your career and delivering for the organization and all of the things that you're passionate about, but also still being the best mom and as present as you can be. The stressors of the financial pieces of everything is on your shoulders for your family and also for that company come with a whole nother set of challenges where you really have to push through that. It's a bit of believing in yourself enough to know that you're going to be okay. That fear of failure and overcoming any of those fears that you have. It's really okay if you do fail. You can still go become an employee or a gig economy worker out there. At least you tried something hard that someone else didn't. Additionally, just missing key things in my kiddos' lives. I I think that's something that we have to have a cost benefit analysis for in our families. I have a large family. I was a single mom for over a decade. I currently have a partner, a fiance who lives in my home and who can help share those responsibilities. In the last 6 months, it's been a game changer to be able to take a flight at 4 a.m. and not have to drive someone to a neighbor friend. And, those seasons have been hard, and I've leaned on neighborhood people. I've leaned on family. I've leaned on friends of my daughters. And I think that we're all out there trying to do the best we can, and there are a lot of people willing to help. And I think giving the example to our kids that we can push through something like an adversity of divorce, we can push through and do hard things, and we can call it a girl boss or a boss babe. But I think that them seeing that example, and the good days and the bad days, I've had days where my kids for sure know it was a really hard day. I try to hide that, but also they need to see the resilience it takes to get up every single day and do something hard and to face something that you've never done before. And they'll see that you built that confidence, and they'll be proud, and they'll maybe stretch themselves farther than they would have done if you didn't do it. So I think that there's a set of adversities. Yes, probably there's less females at this seat than there are at others. But I think it's often because we take ourselves out of the equation. Don't even go for it. And because we have those other guilt items and those other things pulling on us, that we don't allow ourselves to have these experiences. And I think even myself, I'm honest about it. I don't think I would have done it had the circumstances not presented itself the way it did. If I'd have had too long to think about it, if I'd have put it too many times on paper, I might have talked myself out of it. So for myself, I do know work-life integration is really tough. Sometimes there are seasons of work is taking more of my time and my focus than family, and sometimes family needs to take more of that focus than work. And one of our key cultures at BenefitBay is we all know that November 1st to February 1st is a really difficult season for the company, and we know we're going to have an additional investment. So planning with our families, developing those extra social resources that we need to really deliver for our agency clients, our employer clients, and our employees during our busiest season is important. But in the same respect, giving back to those employees during the spring and summer season to get some of that flexibility back and to give their family more of a balance in those other times. I think that's the key in this time and age, is we're all working from wherever we're able to work. Cultures and companies that have come along have allowed their employees the personal discipline to drive themselves and deliver and perform in a way that allows both to integrate in harmony. And there's always going to be tipping points. And one of our key pieces in BenefitBay Tech, we call it the fulcrum tool, but I like to think of the tipping point. If you get too far to one side or too far to the other, you need to bring it back into balance. And that's really important to just know that as your own self, raise your hand, but also to think about that in cultures. And we're really clear at BenefitBay that we communicate in advance that there's blackout on PTO during that window, and that it's a window where we're all going to work hard. If that's not something that you can do or tolerate because you do 2 weeks for Christmas in Croatia or whatever it looks like, then we at least met that expectation in the beginning. And I think that that's a key piece of where things have improved and problems have been solved for those of us who want to seek careers that are in non-traditional situations. We're able to get some of those pieces back, or we're able to work from wherever works for us. If you'd like to learn more about personalizing benefits for your team, or approaching your employer or your broker about personalized benefits, you can learn more at BenefitBay.com. You can follow me as a leader at LinkedIn at Brandy Burch. It'll say CEO and founder of BenefitBay.
"21st Century Entrepreneurship" with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik. connecting with listeners in 95 countries, and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.